Hello, hello, this is the Duke. This is just going to be a random response video to the YouTuber Chrissie for her review of Derrick Jaxn's case and his wife and her colorism issue. So she made a video about this and how I feel it's contradicting and essentially exposing the narrative Chrissie has built over the years. The Victim Olympics has never been this unfortunate and tragic. This civil war that women like Chrissie create to derail the more basic issues people individually face, and that is accountability, mental health, seeking therapy. There is more than that, than simplifying all these issues to colorism. Chrissie, to me, your content like yours drives this paranoia in a woman like this. The Nia Jackson, this, whole fiasco with the white knight, the super simp. Let me just drop a video of, not a video, just a clip. I'm going to share real quick. Something I quickly made, as you can see here. So, Derrick Jaxn, the white knight, the super simp, the BW advocate that's held down the female space and fed egos, has fallen in the most innate way possible. Before I even go beyond that, I'm just going to refocus the narrative that Chrissie has pulled through this thread of her empirical ideology that women of her skin tone will always be the victim of a tragedy. I feel like there's some case to be made. Chrissie has made content that has made sense and is conducive to what really happens in society. But to drive her content creating, she has to perpetuate the same narrative regardless of other factors, because that's just the game she plays, and that's what drives her listeners. She is just like Derrick Jaxn. She does the same thing. Derrick has his own way of, actually putting some truths into some of his ideology, some of his points and advice. But because he has such a big following and needs to create more content, they continue to perpetuate things that become extremely off-bound to what really happens in the dating scene, in just life in general. This is what content creators are sort of intoxicated by. They create a narrative that needs to be driven, that needs to feed the follower base they've created, and lie to themselves. So I know it's not fair to assume someone's mental health, for example, Derrick's wife, but it's clear to the common person that's read through her Instagram and seeing those videos that she seems to be unstable and insecure about herself, as she describes her childhood and upbringing, just like in the video Chrissie mentioned that. But this scenario, Chrissie, you're describing with Derrick's wife being insecure about her brown skin not being dark enough compared to what her man has been with, or her friends, is the most counterproductive mentality to even have, especially a point of view that contradicts what you preach on your channel. It drives resentment between women in your community. It drives delusions of grandeur on both sides. It's unproductive. I came across your content a while back, I'll say a few years ago. And since the bulk of your commentary focuses on colorism, and as a black person in a different Western country, I try to understand the points you've raised. I understand to an extent, but I pictured these issues, and it seems it addresses the core of African American experience. But over time, I realized that, listen to other content creators and speaking to different people, that your approach to these topics are not as realistic as they should be. I mean, it's your prerogative to make this content, but I feel like it's more driven by this way of feeding your follower base, and not to be conducive to reality. Again, this one clip defiles a lot of what you preach, Chrissie. Light or dark skin, it only feeds into how women with mental problems like Derrick's wife think and feel about their insecurities. You attempt to justify them with factors that disavow the individual and make it seem as if everything is systemic and nothing is accountable to the individual involved, where they need to take actions and nothing is in their control. It's been made very clear that the Jaxns got married because Derrick insinuated how it would look for his brand if he had kids outside of wedlock. Uh, the marriage stemmed from an, oops baby. So the genuine love and affection that his wife saw from him was considerably lacking, along with her own personal issues from her upbringing, as you stated, but you choose to not connect the dots. Somehow, her account of colorism plays against your narrative on your platform, but you found a way to coin it to your way of thinking. You attempt to navigate this concept along the same idea: a lighter woman insecure, isn't dark enough or wet enough for her man, versus your idea that black men generally don't want people of your skin tone. You know, maybe you should have avoided this conversation. It could have helped your brand because, as I said, you are just like Derrick. You are just like him. You play in favor of your follower base. You feed them this idea that there's an inevitable truth about a specific group of people within the black community. The darker you are, the worse off you are in life. And it's sad. Maybe you should have, you know, when it comes to racism, we acknowledge these things, but when you fight it within the guise of intersectionality, in the guise of colorism, brown skin, dark skin, just the whole spectrum, I feel you play a front. You know exactly what you do. You know that there are people who don't experience these things, even though they have a specific hue. There's this maybe. How about taking a back seater instead of embarrassing yourself? Honestly, but overall, my message is: no one owes you anything, no matter who you are, black, white, Asian, dark skin, featurist. All these terms we're using now to play victim on very superficial way of thought on especially dating. I feel like our job is to seek the help we need individually, seek peace, adjust to what the lottery of life offers you. There's pretty privilege, and I'm here to say it transcends any skin tone. We justify these ideas so much, but hey, individually, all we are looking for is one other person to share that love and affection with. We don't need everyone in the room to be attracted to you. You don't need everyone in the world to rank you based on their preferences and features and skin tone. You just need that one person to be with, and there's always one person who has a preference for you, especially in the black community. Majority are race loyal. Majority of any race are race loyal to their own. So what game are you playing at when you make your platform the engine for further hate? No resolution, but to just create this resentment. You create women like this. You create women like this from all skin tones in the black community, not just dark skin. Light skinned women too would feel some type of insecurity that you've created in a narrative that you drive. It's hard to find any other content like this. But well done. That's my point being made. But it's just so funny looking at this being played out. Thank you for listening. It's your boy, The Duke, back at you again another time.